Have you ever seen one of these carbon offset monitoring devices before? Your solar panels already save you money on your electricity bill and might also be earning you money through exporting excess generation. But include one of these in your setup and you could be earning even more. Another 10 pence for every kilowatt hour of solar you generate if you're in the UK. And because these devices generate carbon credits, you could also be helping businesses get to net zero. Does it all sound too good to be true? Well, let's find out. Hi, I'm Gary and welcome back to my channel, Gary Does Solar. I came across a website recently which was advertising a carbon offset monitor similar to this one. It's a small electronic device that connects into a solar installation and it records the amount of solar generation. This in turn allows for the generation of what are called carbon offset certificates, which can be acquired by businesses looking to mitigate their own carbon emissions. And you also benefit by receiving a payment against the solar you generate. And this could be as much as 10 pence per kilowatt hour. Sounds pretty good. And you get that payment regardless of whether you self-consume that generation or export it, even if you're already receiving payments from your energy provider for that export. Now, before you all run off and get one of these monitors for your own installation, it's worth sticking around because carbon offset monitors might not be as advantageous or rewarding as they first seem. A good place to start is to look at what carbon offsetting actually is. Many businesses today, including heavy industry and transportation, emit carbon dioxide into the atmosphere during their daily operations. One way for these businesses to reduce their carbon footprint would be to change to using renewable energy sources instead of fossil fuels. But another easier way is simply to buy carbon offset certificates instead. For every ton of carbon dioxide a business emits, it can purchase a carbon offset certificate representing that same amount of carbon dioxide being reduced or removed from the atmosphere elsewhere. The business is essentially offsetting that emission, so lowering its carbon footprint. With that in mind, when you self-consume your solar generation or you export it to your neighbour, it's essentially less energy that has to be generated from non-renewable energy sources. In other words, your solar generation contributes to a measurable reduction in carbon dioxide emissions. The idea of a carbon offset monitor then is to securely document your level of generation so that carbon offset certificates can be issued based on that data for any interested businesses to acquire. And you, as the clean energy producer, are rewarded financially as a result. I mean, on the face of it, it sounds great, everybody wins. But actually, I've got quite a few concerns about the whole notion of carbon offset monitors. The concerns that I have are both environmental and financial. Let's start with the environmental ones. The first concern is additionality. Now, additionality in the context of carbon offsetting refers to the measure of whether actions leading to a carbon offset certificate represent genuine extra efforts to reduce carbon dioxide emissions beyond what would have happened anyway. Thinking about your own solar installation then, if it's already installed and operational, then adding a carbon offset monitor to it is most definitely not additional. But if you don't already have a solar installation and you're planning to get one, then there might be an argument for additionality. But only if a carbon offset monitor was the decisive factor for you getting that solar installation. In other words, if it were not possible for you to have a carbon offset monitor, would that stop you from proceeding with a solar installation? I can't imagine it would, and I guess you just have to be honest with yourself on that question. The second concern I have is carbon offset certification. And actually, there are a lot of questions that should be asked around this. Which entity oversees the generation of the carbon offset certificates? Does it hold a reputable standing in the energy industry? In which carbon offset markets are those generated certificates recognised? And is there evidence that those certificates are actually being acquired by businesses? Probing questions, I know, but a legitimate outfit will have all the answers readily available for you. So don't be frightened to ask the supplier of the carbon offset monitor. And if you're not satisfied with the answers, for example if they sound vague or they're dodging the questions, then it's likely a red flag and you should walk away. The third concern then is double counting. When you get paid to export energy back to the grid, you're essentially handing over all the rights to that energy to your energy provider. And they're then at liberty to claim carbon offsets if they want to. So another question to ask is, does the monitor discount all the exported solar generation? If it doesn't, that sounds to me like double counting. Another red flag. Okay, assuming the company providing the carbon offset monitor has ticked all of the boxes so far, this fourth concern I have is actually a tricky one for you this time. Are you offsetting or enabling? One of the biggest problems with carbon offsetting is that it essentially allows businesses to carry on emitting carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. And simply by acquiring carbon offset certificates, businesses can just keep on doing what they're doing and still claim they're heading towards net zero. And if you've got a bona fide carbon offset monitor as part of your own installation, you're effectively enabling those businesses to do just that. In essence, you've invested thousands out of your own pocket into a solution to actively reduce your carbon footprint. Yet you're now accepting money so that businesses can persist in harming the environment. I don't know about you, but that just doesn't sit well with me at all. By the way, if you like the videos I'm making for you, there are a couple of easy ways that you can help support the channel, and also my mission, which is to educate and inform as many people as I can about solar and related technologies. You can sign up to my Patreon. It's low cost and you get access to software utilities, regular Q&As, and even early ad-free releases of many of my videos. Or, if you're in the UK, you can make a switch to Octopus Energy, my favourite provider, using my referral code here, and we'll both get £50. Okay, we've covered my environmental concerns. Let's now have a look at the financial ones. I totally get it. An investment into a solar installation can be a lot of money, and anything that can help bring a quicker return on that investment must surely be a good thing. And even if you're not worried about the environmental concerns we've just covered, it's still worth you doing your due diligence on the financial aspects too, so that you don't end up losing money with a carbon offset monitor. This starts with the upfront cost of the monitor itself, and weighing up against how long it will take you to break even on that cost. For example, you might be earning, say, £150 worth of revenue each year, but if the monitor itself costs £500, it'll be over 3 years before you recoup that initial investment and can enjoy future financial reward. Will the company still be around then to pay you? Another concern is, how will you get paid? Can you be sure that the company will be making the correct payments to you and on a regular basis over that timescale? And how is that payment going to be made? Is it cash straight into your bank account? Or is it some kind of credit system that accumulates over time that you can hopefully eventually withdraw into your bank account? I've seen many schemes outside of solar where a cryptocurrency has been promoted. Customers essentially buy into that currency and see their accounts accumulated over time, only to find out that the currency later crashes and their balance is effectively worthless. I would expect the better carbon offset certificate schemes to have clear financial recompense mechanisms, so be very wary of schemes that are more exotic than that. Finally then, before making your decision, it's very useful to check the reputation of companies on websites like Trustpilot. Don't just accept the overall rating though. Look carefully through the reviews to see what customers are actually saying. Even better than that is to check what people are saying about the product on social media sites. Most social media forums like this one on Facebook have a search facility, so you can quickly see what people are saying about a particular product, service or company, simply by searching for it. Okay, I hope this video has provided you with good insight if you are thinking about getting a carbon offset monitor for your own solar installation. Personally, I don't like the idea of them at all, but let me know your thoughts in the comments, which I'm sure will help guide others in their decision making. Until next time then, please like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.